So, you always thought Bart was just your average mischievous kid, like that cousin who pulls pranks but has a good heart deep down. Well, what if I told you some of Bart's pranks were downright cruel? That's right, not everything in Springfield is just laughs and skateboards. Today we're diving into the darker side of Bart Simpson's mischief, the kind of pranks that don't just make people laugh, they make your hair stand on end. Prank calls, lies, manipulation, and a wicked imagination that even Burns would be too scared to dream up. If you've ever been the victim of a prank, or had that one classmate who lived to mess with people, buckle up, because Bart is the true master of evil disguised as comedy, and what you're about to hear will make you see that spiky-haired kid in a whole new light. Bart Simpson's most evil pranks starts now. Water park and fish in private parts. It was supposed to be just another fun day at the water park, even if it was winter and the place was closed, artificially heated to keep the summer vibe alive. The Simpsons arrive excited, ready for a good time, but of course, Bart can't just follow the rules like everyone else. When he spots the massive line for the one ride he's been dying to try, his impatience fuels that dark creativity only a true prank master like Bart can summon. With a mischievous glint in his eye and a brain already plotting chaos, he quietly slips away from his parents and heads to the park's control room. There, finding it empty, he hijacks the central PA system and, with a serious, authoritative tone, begins a completely fake announcement. Pretending to be the park's president, he warns guests of an urgent outbreak. Tiny aquatic creatures, invasive and microscopic, have been discovered in the pools. And the worst part? These fish are allegedly entering people's private parts, posing a major health risk. Within seconds, panic erupts. Screams, running, inflatable tubes flying. Chaos spreads like wildfire. But Bart doesn't stop there. Amid the madness, he adds to the official instructions. Any man who believes he's been invaded by one of the fish must immediately sit naked on ice to neutralize the effects. And that's when things go from funny to downright insane. Desperate, a swarm of men tears through the facility, ripping off doors and clothes, sprinting in their birthday suits toward the outdoor area where snow blankets the ground. One by one, they throw themselves down, bare-bottomed in the snow, screaming and shivering. Fake wedding for free gifts. Bart stumbles upon a wedding gift registry kiosk and comes up with a brilliant idea. Fake his own wedding to score all the gifts he wants. He spreads fake invitations all over town, stages the ceremony at a job fair, and incredibly, no one suspects a thing.
I see neither blushing bride nor ardent swain. There is no wedding here.
Once everyone is gathered inside the tent, Bart locks the entrance and escapes with a mountain of gifts, laughing at his perfect con. But this time, the prank comes with a price. Charged with fraud, he's tried and sentenced to 6 months in juvenile detention. It was one of Bart's boldest pranks and one of the few with real consequences. Ghost of cannibal cook Stanley. It all started because, as usual, Homer forgot to pack Bart a decent lunch for school. Instead of food, Bart got a literal drawing of a sandwich. Outraged and starving, he decides to fix things the most Simpson-esque way possible by pulling off a prank that would cause mass panic and leave his classmates' lunches ripe for the taking. He makes up a chilling story about Stanley, a former school cook who was relentlessly bullied by the kids. In revenge, Stanley supposedly began cooking them into soup. According to Bart, the ghost of the cannibal chef still haunts the school halls, seeking vengeance. The story alone is creepy enough, but Bart takes it up a notch. At just the right moment, he kills the power in the school and fakes an attack, complete with spaghetti on his head to make it look like his brain is spilling out. Screams erupt, kids bolt through the hallways, convinced a cannibal spirit is after them. Amid the chaos, Bart grabs what he really wanted all along, the abandoned lunches of his terrified classmates. It was creative, creepy, and perfectly executed. More than just a prank, Bart had created a full-blown urban legend and walked away with a full stomach. Fake grenade at school. During a visit to the retirement home, Bart gets a gift from Grandpa, a grenade that looks alarmingly real, but turns out to be just an old prank prop. Inspired, Bart decides to recreate the gag at school, just like Grandpa did to him. The next day, during the grand reveal of the new school mascot, ironically, Milhouse's dad in a giant animal costume, Bart storms the stage, flashes the grenade, and with a dramatic flick, pretends to pull the pin. What follows is pure chaos. Principal Skinner wets himself in fear. Milhouse hides inside his dad's costume, and students flee like it's the end of the world. But the real highlight, Ned Flanders heroically throws himself onto the grenade to save everyone. A movie-worthy moment of selfless bravery.
all just a joke.
You monster.
In the end, it was just a prank, and one of Bart's boldest yet. He turned a harmless joke into a full-blown, school-wide spectacle, complete with action, comedy, and a surprising lesson in courage from Flanders amid the madness. Exploding beer can on April Fool's Day. It was April Fool's Day, and Homer was on a prank spree. First thing in the morning, he taped Bart's eyes shut while he was sleeping, making him think he'd gone blind. Then, to top it off, he served him spoiled milk just for laughs. Naturally, Bart vows revenge and starts planning a prank that would truly level the playing field. Fueled by fury, he heads to a hardware store and sneaks a beer can into a paint mixer, shaking it to its absolute limit. Then, ever so carefully, he places it back in the fridge and waits. But Homer, as usual, takes forever to get off the couch. Growing impatient, Bart cranks up the house's heat until it's unbearable, finally forcing Homer to move. When Homer opens the can, the explosion is so massive it blasts the roof off the house. The shockwave sends Homer flying and lands him in the hospital in a coma. Doctors aren't sure if he'll ever walk again. All of this from a simple April Fool's prank that started with tape and ended like an action movie. Bart took the idea of getting even to a whole new and literally explosive level. Stuffed animals that insult Homer. During a family trip to the mall, the Simpsons wander into a store called Stuff and Snuggle, where customers can build their own personalized plush toys. For most kids, it's just innocent fun, but once Bart discovers the toys can record voice messages, his prank instincts kick in. Sneakily, he records a series of insults, all aimed squarely at Homer. Taunting phrases, creative name-calling, all delivered in the cute, high-pitched voices of the stuffed animals. Before long, every cuddly critter in the store is rigged to roast Homer the moment he walks in, and that's exactly what happens. As Homer steps into the shop, he's greeted by a full-on ambush of plushies calling him dumb, fat, lazy, and much worse. His reaction is instant. Wide eyes, red face, and a total meltdown. He starts pummeling the toys like he's battling a horde of evil teddy bears. The scene is as ridiculous as it is hilarious, with Homer completely losing it amidst a sea of fuzzy insult machines. Simple, sharp, and visually absurd. It's the kind of prank only Bart would pull off, and only Homer would react to like that. Fake love letters to Mrs. Crabapple. It all begins when Bart discovers that his teacher, Mrs. Crabapple, placed a personal ad in a magazine, lonely and longing for someone to share her life with. To most, it would seem simply sad, but to Bart, it was the perfect opening for one of his boldest and cruelest pranks. Using a fake name, Woodrow, Bart starts writing passionate letters to his teacher, pretending to be a secret admirer. His sweet, romantic words quickly capture Edna's heart, pulling her into a relationship that exists only on paper. Encouraged by her response, Bart keeps the ruse going, tailoring each letter to match her tastes and dreams, making Woodrow feel more real with every line. Eventually, Mrs. Crabapple falls deeply in love, but every prank has its limit. When Bart sets up a meeting between her and her imaginary suitor, and secretly watches her sit alone, waiting, with a look of crushing disappointment, something inside him shifts. For the first time, he feels the real weight of what he's done. Behind her stern exterior, he sees a woman hurt by loneliness. Overcome with guilt, Bart turns to his family for help. Together, they craft one final letter from Woodrow, a tender farewell that doesn't reveal the truth, but offers comfort, warmth, and dignity. And just like that, the cruel prank becomes a quiet act of redemption. It may not have been the funniest trick, but it was, without a doubt, one of the most powerful. It showed that behind all the mischief, Bart is capable of empathy, growth, and making things right, even if it all began as just another joke. Firecracker in the toilet hits the principal's mom. After leaving toys scattered around the house and causing Homer to fall down the stairs, Bart gets grounded by Marge and is forced to clean his room. While digging through the mess, he finds an old forgotten firecracker tucked away in a box, and like any good troublemaker, he can't resist bringing his explosive gift to school. With the help of his friends, Bart hatches a simple plan: flush the firecracker down the boys' bathroom toilet and watch the chaos unfold. The goal was just to stir up a little mayhem, a classic prank with no real harm intended. What they didn't know was that Principal Skinner's mother, who happened to be visiting the school school that day had just stepped into that very bathroom. The moment the firecracker detonates, toilets across the school erupt like a wild water show. In the middle of it all, Mrs. Skinner is launched into the air, drenched and left in a state of total shock. Principal Skinner's expression shifts from calm to furious in an instant. It was pure chaos. A defining moment from Bart Simpson's early days as TV's most iconic troublemaker. Simpler than some of the elaborate pranks that would come later, this bathroom explosion still cemented Bart as a master of disaster from the very beginning. After all the pranks, explosions, scares, and chaos unleashed across Springfield, one thing's for sure, nobody pulls off a prank like Bart Simpson. He may be just a 10-year-old kid, but his mind works like a true genius of mischief. From faking an outbreak of fish invading people's private parts to staging a fake wedding just to score gifts, Bart can turn any ordinary moment into an epic joke. But what's most interesting is that beneath all the mayhem, we catch glimpses of something deeper. Sometimes he's just in it for laughs. Other times he's coping with frustration, and in rare moments he even realizes when he's gone too far. It's that mix of unfiltered creativity, sharp humor, and a dash of humanity that makes Bart's pranks so unforgettable. And if there's one thing we know for sure, as long as there are schools, distracted adults, and public PA systems, Bart will always be ready to strike again. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below what's your favorite Bart prank, or better yet, what prank should he pull off next? Thanks for watching, and see you on the next bit of mischief.